Well, that sucked. There's really nothing else to say. That was not a very good performance, but it's almost a cause for celebration because the team is leaving Sacramento.
You are Locked On Tigers, your daily Detroit Tigers podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another edition of Locked On Tigers. I'm, of course, your host, Scott Bentley. Today is Thursday, August 28th, 2025. Thank you so much for making Locked On Tigers your first listen. Every single day, we are free and available wherever you get your podcasts, including YouTube, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off of your first purchase. Welcome in. Welcome all. Happy Thursday, everybody. The Tigers have an off day today as you listen to this. So enjoy. Enjoy. You can't lose on an off day. So enjoy, relax. Don't let the Tigers dictate your mood for a day, and have a wonderful Friday Eve. The Detroit Tigers played on Wednesday night and lost by a score of 7-0. Swept by the Athletics. I keep wanting to say Oakland, but they don't even go by Sacramento. It's just weird to not have a city. Swept by the city redacted Athletics. The Tigers fall to 78-56 on the season, still 22 games over 500. The Athletics improved to 63-72. They've been on fire since, on fire is probably a little bit of a stretch, but they've been a lot better since the All-Star break. And yeah, they're within, single digits of 500 ball now and have a little bit more than a month to play. They have a really solid offense, and we saw tonight that not only do they have a really solid offense, they also have good pitching prospects that are right on either the cusp of making the majors or are early in their major league career, like the Tigers saw firsthand on Wednesday night. So first thought, that was lame. That sucked. The first two innings were weird, like most of the series has been, but this just really was boo. Offense got absolutely diced. Mize got clobbered. Really no doubt about that one. Detroit got completely outclassed in this ballgame. I feel like in the first two games on this show, I was talking about, the field a lot and, the earned runs versus the runs, and did they deserve to win or did they not? There's no mixing of interpretation or words here, okay? They just got smacked. And as I said in the cold open, the best part about this series is the fact that it's freaking over. Get this team the heck out of the city of Sacramento. And that's no disrespect. Okay? No disrespect to the city itself. I love the Kings. Okay? Was a big DeMarcus Cousins fan. Was a big Jason Williams fan. Right? Love the Kings. I'm sure it's a wonderful city. I've never been. I'm sure it's a wonderful city with fantastic, amazing people. I don't want to play. I'm not the one playing. I don't want to watch my baseball team play in that ballpark, honestly, literally ever again. I get one life. I get one shot on planet Earth. I would be really okay if for the rest of my time here, I didn't watch the Detroit Tigers play in that stadium ever again. Now, I don't think that's going to happen because it sounds like they're going to play there at least for one more year. But we can't all get what we want, I guess. What went wrong? We're going to start with Casey Mize because I think it's probably the biggest talking point, despite the fact that the offense did get shut out in this ballgame, and we will still talk plenty about that. I think Casey Mize's struggles since the start of July brings up a much more bigger picture conversation about what the rotation is going to look like the rest of the season. So, or really in the postseason, but we'll get there when we get there. 3 1/3, 7 hits, 5 earned runs, 2 walks, 4 strikeouts, and the home run against. ZRA is now still sub 4, but it is now 3.95. Yes, it's now 3.95 on the season. The splitter in this outing was really the only pitch that he was getting consistent, honestly, like strikes, period. Non-foul ball strikes, period. He had a couple of called strikes on the fastball, and he tried to go backdoor slider cutter thing a couple of times. But really, the only pitch that was consistently getting strikes in some capacity was the splitter. But he had next to no command in this ballgame. Just completely and entirely inefficient. The fastball and the breaking balls did really a whole lot of nothing in this ballgame. His arsenal is so odd to me, aside from the fact that he was, a number 1 overall pick and had 1-1 stuff at Auburn, and that and then threw a no-hitter in his Double-A debut, and like all of this. Aside from that, okay, just where our feet are, where he's at right now in his career. His splitter is so fascinating because it has a whiff rate of just about 30%. That's really good, okay? That is well above league average. Anytime you have a pitch that has a whiff rate that starts with the number 3, that's a pretty darn effective swing and miss pitch. The crazy thing about his splitter is that, as well as having about a 30% whiff rate, it also has a batting average against well over 300 and a slugging percentage against well over 500. That's at a minimum. You're talking about like a mid 800s OPS if you were to play that game whenever opposing hitters make contact with his splitter. Just make contact with it. It's an all or nothing pitch, man. It is literally hit or miss. Pun very intended. If the pitch is located well and the pitch mix is good with the fastball that has improved since, 2021, 2022, then great. He's going to get a swing and miss on it a lot of the time. If it's not, it's either uncompetitive and spit on, or it's Tommy Kahnle's changeup lately, and it's just thigh high over the plate and taking 400 feet. His fastball, not a swing and miss pitch, really whatsoever. The slider, not a swing and miss pitch, more of a cutter. The slurve has decent whiff numbers, but the slurve is also a pitch that is not swung at as often. And whiff rate only accounts for when the hitter actually swings at the ball. So a lot of uncompetitive slurves thrown in there. All of that just happens way too often. And it's led to this weird pitcher that had all-star caliber numbers in the first half, started off the month of July with 7 innings pitched of shutout ball. Okay? Since then, he has had 8 starts, and his ERA is 7.2. 7.20. If you just look at earned runs and innings pitched, he is quite literally approaching a run an inning since his second start in July. We're approaching 2 months of that, which then leads to a much bigger picture conversation, I think, which is when this team gets to October, what on earth does the rotation look like after Tarek Skubal? We'll talk about that and then talk more about this ball game right after this. First, though, I got to talk to y'all about our friends over at Upside. Hello, Tigers fans. Stop leaving money behind. Are you really still paying full price for gas? Well, you can get real cash back every time you fill up with free Upside app. Simply download the free Upside app in the App Store or Google Play right now and start earning cash at the pump today. Use my limited time promo code LOCKEDONMLB and get an extra 25 cents back per gallon on your first fill up. You could make up to $300 a year just from buying the gas you already need. At first, I thought it was too good to be true, but it's totally legit. Real people are getting paid just to take their daily commutes, and you can too. Plus, you can cash out anytime to your bank account, PayPal, or an e-gift card or Amazon card, and plenty of other brands as well. So don't let this offer drive by. Download the free Upside app now using my limited time promo code LOCKEDONMLB for a limited time 25 cents per gallon bonus. Offers vary by user and location. Go to upside.com for terms and conditions. All right, everybody, welcome back here. Segment 2, Locked On Tigers. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. As always, making us your first listen every single day. Shout out to the everydayers that do tune in every day. And we, of course, will be back tomorrow. Off day as you listen to this on Thursday. So Friday's show will be not only previewing the weekend, but kind of talking about, injury updates, Alex Cobb, Parker Meadows, what the rest of the season could look like, etc. Before we go any further, we have an important request here at Locked On. Locked On wants to hear from you. We've put together a survey to learn more about our listeners and make your favorite podcasts even better. This is your chance to tell us what you like, what you don't like, and answer questions about our advertising. So go to lockedonpodcasts.com/survey to get started. Everyone who completes a survey will be entered for a chance to win one of 10 $100 Amazon gift cards. Again, that's lockedonpodcast.com/survey. You can also find the link in the show notes of the episode. Thank you for helping us out. So before the break, we talked a little bit about Mize. I think that naturally then the conversation is the Tigers playing October baseball this year. If that happens, what is the rotation even looking like? Tarek Skubal's the one. Great. After that, you are picking from Jack Flaherty, Casey Mize, Charlie Morton, and Chris Paddock. That's bleak, man. I'm going to tell you straight up. Flaherty has an ERA of about 5 on the season and has gotten rocked in like 2 of his last 3 outings. Mize has an ERA over 7 since before the All-Star break. Morton is Adam Dunn reincarnated in a pitcher form. Everything is a home run or a strikeout. He has an ERA over 5 on the season. And Paddock cannot get a swing and miss for anything and has an ERA over 5 since the Tigers acquired him. The silver lining, I guess, with Paddock is he's had 3 solid performances, 2 really bad performances, and the 2 really bad performances are against his former team. So I guess you could try to convince yourself to put him in the rotation because you're not going to face the Twins in the playoffs. But like none of those 4 guys have very good numbers over the course of the season. None of them. So even if you're sitting there and you're like, idiot, the obvious choice is blank. Okay, great. You picked 2. We now have game 1 and 2 starter. Who starts game 3? I'm just saying it's really thin. That is a bleak outlook of the rotation. If you asked me right now, I'm going Skubal game 1, Morton game 2, and I think Flaherty game 3, just because you at least give playoff experience. He pitched in the World Series last year, and you at least get some swing and miss potential in there. Paddock just terrifies me in the postseason, man. Everything is going to be hit. And with the way the defense just played, I'm not sure I really want that. Obviously, then some of you are screaming at your smartphones or laptops or however the heck you ingest this podcast and go, what about Troy Melton? I agree. But then there's a catch-22 there because then you're removing one of your only trustworthy relievers as of late as well. Like Finnegan and Vest, whether you trust them or not, honestly, doesn't even really matter. I trust both of them a lot. I know Vest wasn't good his last time out, but like it's one outing. He's been great all year. Even if you don't, like they're your two best relievers on the season. They're going to get those opportunities. So you don't really have a choice. You have to trust them. Outside of that, it's just been a roller coaster. My point is not to say that the Tigers are going to blow a 10-game lead in a month. Okay, again, the eyes are not on making the postseason. They're on trying to find a way to get a first-round bye. That should be the goal of every single person in that clubhouse. And I think it's fair to say that if there's anything that's going to prevent that, the pitching is a legitimate concern this last month of the season and going into the postseason. I think that's fair. The offense in this ball game did not do you any favors either, though. Shutout ball got sliced and diced. 4 base runners total. Is that even right? Oh, I guess you had the walk in the 9th inning, so it got up to 5. You had more walks than hits, which is not going to lead to a recipe for success too terribly often unless you have like 10 walks on a game. 0 for 3 with runners in scoring position, which puts your series total at 2 for 26 with RISP. That's an 0.76 batting average. Wouldn't have really helped you too much in this game, to be honest with you. All 3 of those at-bats could have been successful and scored the runner, and you still would have lost. But alas, just wanted to highlight that it was a weak part of the game. They've been really solid, actually, with RISP hitting on the season over the course of 140 games or wherever we're at currently. But this series was a train wreck. If you're mad at someone in this game for their bad offense and you're like, wow, I can't wait for him to call out so-and-so. He never calls out so-and-so. And, you know, that person did poorly. So now you're right. Whoever it is, I don't even care. All of them, everybody, except Dylan Dingler. You're correct. Whoever you're mad at for their offensive performance, unless you're for some reason upset with Dylan Dingler, which I can't fathom, everybody else, yeah, they took bad at-bats in this game. Colt Keith, brutal at-bats. 0 for 4 with 2 strikeouts. Riley Green and Kerry Carpenter, I guess. I mean, they went 0 for 6 combined. I guess they didn't strike out, either of them, which is a silver lining, but not the most competitive at-bats. Carpenter had a hard hit ball at one point that just didn't fall. Torkelson got a hit. I guess maybe you can omit him from this, but yeah, I mean, I thought that was a home run. I was kind of shocked it wasn't, but was one of the only real threats to score at one point in this game. Was fine defensively in this one, too. Zach McKinstry had some hard hit balls, so maybe you can omit him from this despite going 0 for 3, but like Wenceel Perez, 0 for 3 with 3 strikeouts. Trey Sweeney, brutal at-bats, continued. Gleyber Torres got 2 walks. I didn't even think his at-bats were really fantastic in this one. You did have another error, actually. It was Casey Mize. So, you know, whose fault is that? It's always funny. I love the argument. You can't do it because it's a really slippery slope, but I do love the argument of like, if a starting pitcher makes a fielding error, then it should count as an earned run against him because it's his own error. I have always just loved that theory, even though, again, it'll never happen. Wenceel Perez misread a fly ball in center field really badly. Should have been a fly out. Ended up being a base runner. I don't think that'll count as an error, though. Oh, the Tigers do end with 2 errors. So I don't know. Who even... Obviously, the one is Mize. Oh, then Dingler in the 9th inning. That shouldn't be on Dingler. That was a really good throw on a back pick to second base, and he beat the runner. Gleyber Torres just completely missed the ball. Okay, I'm rambling. Drew Summers got hit around again. I really just can't imagine that he's on the Major League roster too much longer. Maybe they just wait out the road trip and wait until they're back at home. But I can't imagine that he's longed for the roster throughout the rest of September. What went right? Dylan Dingler was great, I thought. Even his at-bats were fantastic, and nobody else's really were. He didn't chase too much in this game. He only expanded the zone one time, and it was in the last pitch of the last at-bat he had. Got a walk, got a hit, caught stealing at the plate. Again, should have had a back pick as well at second base, which almost never happens. But Glaber couldn't get in front of that baseball. So, yeah, I thought he was fantastic in this one. Rafael Montero, good results. 2 2/3 innings, no hits, 1 walk, 4 strikeouts. He was, I think you could call it effectively wild. I think that's fair. Wasn't the most pinpoint command or anything. He was kind of spraying the ball all over the place, but his stuff moves and he gets swings and misses. And that's why the Tigers took a chance on him at the deadline. What else? Not a whole lot went right in this one, man. I'm going to be real with you. I'm going to keep it like it really. Tommy Kahnle didn't give up a run. The command was still brutal. He hung like 4 changeups, but got out of it. I genuinely think, okay, we got to get to a break here, but I genuinely think the thing that went the most right about this game and about this series is the fact that somewhere in California, the team is wheels up, flying back to this side of the country and leaving that ballpark and that city behind it. Get out of there and bounce back to what they were doing before they went to Sacramento. Okay, let's talk stuff. We'll kind of take a look ahead, talk about a few other things from the ball game. We will do that right after this. Got to talk to you about our friends over at Game Time. Game Time is the best. We love our friends over at Game Time. There's nothing like catching a ball game live. The energy, the crowd, the chance to see your team in person, but actually getting tickets, well, that's the tough part. Queues, login screens, surprise fees. It takes all the fun out of it. That's why I use Game Time. It's the app that gives the advantage back to the fans. Game Time is fast, easy, and backed by the Game Time guarantee. You'll always get 100% authentic tickets delivered on time and at the best price. Plus, all fees are included, so the price you see is the price you pay. The app is super simple. I could see even the exact view from my seat before I bought my tickets. And as I said, fees are included. You know your total upfront. There's no surprise fees at checkout. It is the best. So download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off of your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and use promo code LOCKEDON, LOCKEDONMLB, for $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket, go. Download Game Time today. All right, everybody, welcome back here. Third and final segment of Locked On Tigers. Appreciate y'all for tuning in as always. Let's talk stuff. You know, I mentioned it earlier. The Torkelson triple was weird. Like, weird stuff just keeps happening in those games. At first, I thought it was a home run. Then it kind of bounced off close to the top of the wall. Lawrence Butler doesn't go after it, but then what was that, Soderstrom in left field? Whoever was in left doesn't go after it either. And they both just kind of stare at it and think the other one's going to go for it. Meanwhile, Torkelson is at second base and like coming to a stop. He's not sprinting. I don't know if he just didn't know where the ball was or what. Then he realizes where the ball is, turns on the Jets. Lawrence Butler then races to the baseball and tries to throw it in. He ends up getting a triple anyway. And then Zach McKinstry hits a screaming line drive that Zach Geloff jumps up and robs over at second base. Okay. What else happened? Justin Verlander was asked in a post-game media availability about what it felt like to get his first win at Oracle, which is kind of a testament to how rough of a year it's been for him. I feel like he was hurt for a little bit, but like it's August 28th and he has been there all year. So yeah. But he said, no offense, but I wish it came in 2012, which is definitely what I needed on this fine Wednesday. Definitely needed a reminder of getting swept in the World Series. That's cool. All right, well, that was supposed to be like a funny story to pick up the vibes, and it didn't. You got an off day today. Thursdays, you listen to this. You're at Kansas City this weekend. You just played Kansas City at home and won a series. You took 2 of 3. You had a chance to get a sweep, honestly, on Sunday. I know I'm a broken record, and it's probably annoying. I'm just so happy to get out of Sacramento. They won. I see a lot of people online that are, really, really like taking this series loss or this sweep, rather, call it what it is, like hard and are like, this team sucks and whatever. And I know some of that is just online being in the moment. It is important to remember that they had won 9 of their previous 11 ball games going into this series, right? They were hot again. They were playing good baseball. They swept the Astros. Like they had a lot of momentum going for them and then played in a park that nobody likes playing in. Pitcher's mound sucks. Every pitcher complains about it. The infield grass sucks. Every infielder complains about it. The dimensions suck. Every outfielder complains about it. It has almost as many runs as Coors this season. It's a launching pad. It's a joke that a Major League Baseball team is playing games there. We can call that what it is too. It's a literal joke. So get back on the horse. Forget about it. Go beat a team that you just beat last weekend, and we'll all forget that this ever happened. Okay? You can't play like that ever again. I'm not trying to excuse the performance, I promise. But I would rather have a bad series now than in October. You just have to make sure that that is truly all it is, which is a bad series. If they go and lay an egg against the Royals and then are terrible in September, then we're going to have a much different story heading into October baseball. You play some good teams coming up outside of the White Sox. But even the White Sox kind of gave you fits just, a couple of weeks ago. Okay, we'll preview that series more tomorrow. Next, we're making Locked On Tigers your first listen every single day. Shout out to the everydayers that do tune in every day. And we, of course, will be back on the off day episode tomorrow. Also going to talk about September call-ups on tomorrow's show. Rosters expand by 2 these days in the month of September. So we're going to talk about who we could potentially see up for said call-ups. Usually it's 1 batter, 1 pitcher. So we'll see if, take a look at some of the names, and maybe it's someone really exciting. Maybe it's someone we've seen. We'll talk about that tomorrow and much, much more. Okay. Peace and love. Going to therapy's dope. My therapist is going to learn about Sacramento baseball this week. That's for darn sure. Catch y'all tomorrow, baby. Go Tigers. Oh, also, really quickly, before I let you go, another big moment for Locked On. College football fans, Locked On and Fire TV are presenting College Football Kickoff, your ultimate college football weekly preview. Drake Tall of Locked On Big 12 leads the conversation alongside 2-time AP Coach of the Year, Gary Patterson, former college star Jesse Holley, and Locked On's local experts. A college football preview only Locked On can do. Catch College Football Kickoff every Thursday throughout the season, only on Fire TV. Go Tigers.